Yesterday, we talked about the fact that Meghan Markle got called a grifter. Her and Prince Harry both got called grifters by Bill Simmons, who said that he wants somebody to get him drunk so he can tell them the story about trying to help Prince Harry come up with ideas for podcasts, which I would pay money to see. Absolutely. Right? So now they're saying that she faked podcast interviews. This is a little bit, and I'm going to be honest here, this is a little bit over the top and hyperbolic. What they're basically saying is like, look, when she was doing the interviews with like the big name celebrities, like a Jamila Jamil or a Mindy Kaling, if you call those big name celebrities, she would be there and she'd have her in-depth discussion with them. But when she would do interviews with smaller names, they would actually have like a person who worked for that, like a producer, do the interviews, and they would cut her voice in.
That's so dumb.
Are you suggesting that she's fake?
I was gonna say, like, this is not good for her branding, is it not?
No, not at all.
I didn't see. You read the first part of that. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool because it's like there's some novelty there. She's trying something new. The podcaster that's never there, but the fact that she's got two tiers of people, ones that she'll show up for, ones that she won't. That's what's messed up.
Like, imagine Tim like just shows up for the Bannons and the O'Keefes and everybody else. He's like, Ian, you got this one, and he just lets Ian do all the interviews with everyone else. Like that's it's not a way to endear an audience to you, especially when what you're trying to do is make yourself seem more relatable to the average person.
People forget that Markle is just another Hollywood D-bag. I mean,
who?
Exactly.
Meghan Markle.
Oh, she's that girl from Suits, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So she was already kind of like, drinking the Hollywood Kool-Aid, and then she goes and gets involved in the royal family. And people's attention spans, their memories are short. So they remember royal family, her story, they got shafted, according to them. But they don't, she was a Hollywood girl for a decade before that.
Yep.
So
there was also, I have this cringe video. It's not cringe of the day because I didn't know if I wanted to do cringe of the day. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to do cringe and cute of the day at the end of the show today. But there was this video or this thing that came out. It says Meghan Markle modeling clip resurfaces amid axed Dior and Spotify deals. So she was supposedly going to get a $20 million deal from Dior that coincided just as her $20 million deal with Spotify got revoked, meaning that she wasn't going to be able to keep all of the $20 million from the Spotify deal because she wasn't able to deliver on enough content.
Did you see what the Spotify executive said about him?
Yeah.
No.
Called them effing grifters.
It was hilarious.
Nice.
It sent me.
That's good.
Like he basically
like
he's like you should have seen Harry trying to come up with podcast ideas.
God.
And
yeah.
It's funny because it's like it's one of those things where it's like they have all the access and the resources, right, to do whatever they want. So she's got people who like go and do the interviews for her. Like
that's wild.
I want to be careful though here because listen, she is definitely deserving of criticism for everything she's doing, but I don't want to put all the eggs in Spotify's basket either, right? Let's not jump on defending the multi-billion-dollar company, because this contract stuff that we're seeing, I'm reading a sentence from this article and it says that the Archwell Media Company that they launched, the Markles, Harry and Markle, did not produce enough content to receive the full payout of a $20 million deal, right? And so what does that remind you of? Music artists,
Hollywood
right?
contracts.
Getting Hollywood contracts, getting shafted, right? So
deliver.
I don't want to
deliverable. If you don't have deliverable, I mean that's a huge thing because that's the reason they paid you money.
Right. But this has been in a thing. This has been Hollywood contracts have been problematic for 20, 30 years. I don't want to just ignore that problem just because we don't like Meghan, right? So, I don't know why, even with this kick stuff that we're going to end up talking about, now we're getting people that play video games, making as much money as athletes. And it's a weird kind of realm we're diving into. And we're going to see more controversy and drama and contract disputes and, you didn't do this or you weren't supposed to do that. And so it's I just want to tread lightly here. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to just totally be like, yeah, let's go Spotify, screw Meghan.
No, I'm going to go ahead and say, go ahead and screw Meghan and Harry. Like you go Spotify.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I'm rarely down with Spotify, but I agree with this take, honestly.
Spotify also, didn't they make Rogan censor several episodes of the Joe Rogan
Experience?
There you go.
Well, they're gone.
I think that came out.
They made him get rid of a couple of the Alex Jones episodes, right?
pull stuff off YouTube too, even though that's not their platform.
I think that was part of the deal, though.
Yeah, because his is an
that's what I'm
exclusive.
saying.
He couldn't have like the full episode, but he could have clips up on YouTube.
No, but I think there was certain content that had to be deleted off YouTube in order to sign for Spotify.
Right, but he never had like a deal with YouTube, so that was just YouTube's.
No, that was Spotify saying you need to go on someone else's platform. I'm pretty sure Spotify is part of the deal with Joe Rogan. They said, Joe, now you need to go back on these other platforms and get rid of stuff.
Okay, I could be wrong about that, but I'm not sure.
I could be making it up too, but what I know is like it was a very.
We could be total fake news here.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Wrong.
But we'll see. We'll see. I like the independent kind of creators way more. I don't want to see. Like, I'm glad Kick is taken off. I'm glad podcasting is as big as it is, but I don't want just a new type of celebrity. You know, there should be a more communal kind of thing.
There certainly is a new type of celebrity. I know that the next couple stories we're going to talk about other newer celebrities here. But
she really couldn't have done a worse job of like trying to repair her image than to find out like, hi, I'm just mid-tier guest number 1 and I don't get to be in the presence of Saint Meghan.
Yeah.
So it says speculation that Markle doesn't directly interview her guests started circulating when writer Alison Yarrow shared on Instagram in August that she was excited to be included in the Visionary series. Yet the post showed Yarrow posing in front of a sign for the audio production house Grimlet Media and included thanks to the Archetype's producer for being an excellent interviewer. Yarrow, the author of 90s Bitch, Media Culture, and the Failed Promise of Gender Equality, oh, that sounds like a grand old interview, appeared on the podcast in an episode titled To Be or Not to Be, in which the royal discussed how calling a woman difficult is code for the B word. Hey, settle down.
Settle down, away.
Hey, Meghan, settle down. Like, you're being dramatic.
You need to calm down.
You need to calm down. You're being dramatic.
I hate when people do these dog whistles. It's like, dude, if I wanted to insult you, I'm going to come out and say it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or beat around the bush. Like, if I'm going to call you the B word, I'm going to. If I'm calling you difficult, it's because you're difficult, right?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's
don't get it twisted.
That. People are just going to say that. Like, no one's afraid to just say that. It's like the least bad word. I think a lot of people are just going to say that.
Yeah, and it's like, well, and if you think people want to call you that, maybe you should stop acting like one.
Yeah, if you feel like there's merit to these accusations, you wouldn't feel so bad.
I mean, that's like one of those things where it's like, look, if somebody actually calls you the B word, then maybe I guess you address like maybe I was behaving that way. Maybe they weren't, and the person was being 100% reasonable in calling you that. But you can't just ascribe meaning to another word and then
difficult.
And then do that.
I think what you just said, she should have done to the word difficult. If someone said difficult, right? He's using a specific word. It's friendly, right? It's non-combative, or I don't know if it was a guy or a girl that said it, but. Right, like listen and reflect and be like, am I being a little bit annoying here? Am I not, am I pushing back too hard? Whatever it may be, you know.
It is fair to say though that Spotify has, for the most, I don't think they've censored anything Rogan's been doing since then.
They just put up little warnings.
They put up the like, you might actually be getting real information. You don't know if you necessarily want that. Like, how dare you interview RFK because he might give you vax.
Well, that was the whole thing that Peter Hotez was saying, that he was like, oh, Spotify's not even trying anymore.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about that situation?
I'm here for it. Wreck this guy. This is hilarious.
How do you guys feel about Kim, like the guy like coming to his house?
That
a little weird.
That's the only one where I'm like, I can't get behind that, dude. You got kids. Stop.
Yeah, it's a little much.
What if they showed up at Meghan Markle's house? You know what she should do? She should start a briefcase company. Have you ever seen?
Somebody in the chat, they said, imagine she gets the briefcase and it says no deal.
I forgot. Yeah, she was a.
That's so funny.
Oh man.
She was a no deal.
She was a deal or no deal girl, and then she got mad because she like. This is one of the stories that kind of put everybody back on the path of finding her annoying. She's like, and the show objectifies women because she's like, I went to college, and I was like, yeah, but you weren't hired at this job because you went to college. You were hired at this job because you won the genetic lottery, and you're very, very attractive. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with just being attractive and having a job that seems to celebrate that attraction. She clearly went on later and got to do her intellectual thing on her podcast where she whines about men in the patriarchy with the likes of Emily Ratatouille and all the other women that make whole careers out of being mad at men, right? Like, it's, though, to be fair, like, I think for
Isn't that what Andrew Tate does, though?
make a whole career out of whining about, and a lot of these people, like, I mean, we do that. Like, even here, I whine about Hollywood. Like, the reason people don't like when Meghan Markle does it, what we were talking about yesterday, is like she's whining from the golden throne. When you've got that much money, like,
isn't that what Andrew Tate does?
When the average person,
I don't know if it's the same.
When the average person complains about something, it's marketable because you're an everyman and people can understand where you're coming from with your complaints. When a Meghan Markle or maybe even an Andrew Tate complains, I would say Andrew Tate's better about it. I think he's more intellectual with his complaints, but I could be wrong.
It's just a rich person complaining that he's being held down.
Yeah.
She's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's literally was being
detained it is a little bit, it is different, but
you know what I mean? So it's like, I get what you're saying, but it's like, I think the difference here is stark. Like, you're actually in Romanian prison in Eastern Europe,
That's true.
European prison, versus like Meghan Markle, who's like literally married to a prince of England, is now, or I guess not anymore, whatever the situation is.
Also, she's doing it on like the basis of ideas that nobody really buys into anymore, which is that that the patriarchy is oppressing her. Like, did you ever see, like, if you actually want to get frustrated at something, watch the interview of where her, Oprah, and Harry are all saying "woe is me." Well, they're all saying "woe is me," and it's just like, that doesn't resonate with the average person.
It's a banger.
Like Andrew Tate or not, Andrew Tate preaches to a message to men that there's a void in society for them right now, where there aren't many good role models for young men preaching any type of message other than lie down and be as dormant as you can for the sake of not promoting toxic masculinity and whatever else other garbage that they're producing, right? What she's saying is like, I'm worth millions of dollars. I want to be left alone, but I also want to be complaining about having millions of dollars and not being left alone. There's a disconnect there.
That honestly sounds like you just described Andrew Tate, though, right? He doesn't
say anything about being
going
left alone.
on. Yeah, he is.
No.
He's talking about the authorities. Oh,
he was actually arrested.
I know he was, and he's just complaining about. I'm just saying, like, they're way more similar than they are different. It's rich people complaining to the average person that there's someone out to get you.
Yeah, but Andrew Tate actually has a decent message couched in in a lot of his jargon.
I bet people say that about Meghan. Honestly,
they're wrong.
Listen,
do they really?
I agree with you, Brett, but she's got fans. She does, whether we like it or not, right? We have people who believe in her message.
Chad, is anybody in the chat a fan of Meghan? I mean, that's totally possible, I suppose. Like, there could be fans of Meghan Markle in the chat. I have no idea.
She definitely has fans. She definitely got people that are going to simp over.
I see this trend a lot with very rich people that get on the podcasts, that somehow they're still being held down. And I know Andrew Tate, like, I'm picking the extremes here.
He is kind of like cool Uncle Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, definitely.
He's your uncle that never had kids and drives a cool car, Jordan Peterson.
I mean, patriarchy equals Matrix, like, right? When Jordan Peterson was complaining, he's like, no, it was this specific group, it's the Canadian government, this specific law that's trying to criminalize me, right? He's not just talking about this kind of vague thing in the void that's out to get him.
C-16, yeah.
So, if you're gonna complain, I think they're both grifting a little bit. I guess that's my point of it all. I think they're both grifting. If you want to complain or enact real change, you should be more specific with what you talk about.
Yep.
I guess I still feel like Andrew Tate has been very specific about the things that he's talked about. I just think Meghan Markle is more like my patriarchy kind of situation. I don't know. I see what you're saying, though. I can see the parallels you're drawing there. So
there's a $20 one. Yep.
Clint's got a super chat for 20. It says, "Doesn't she not do the interviews? I heard the producers ask the guests the questions, and she records herself in the conversation later." Wow.
No, what they're saying is that she did that with smaller guests, but she actually sat in and had the discussions with the bigger guests. So it says, although the episodes include the Duchess in deep conversation with A-list celebrities, with guests like Jamila Jamil, Serena Williams, Paris Hilton, and Mindy Kaling, they also have clips of experts, academics, and authors talking about specific topics, including Yarrow, psychologist Laura Cray, and sociologist Nancy Wang Yun. So I guess what they're saying is like the Yarrows, the Crays, and the Yuns of the world don't get any actual interaction with Meghan, whereas the Serena Williams and the Jamila Jamils and the Mindy Kalings of the world and the Paris Hiltons of the world, they get to actually interact with her because it's a mean girl girl clique where she's like, you're not cool enough.
Yeah, you can't sit with us.
Like, you're not worth my time. I'll just pawn this off on a producer who can do that. Also, just imagine having those resources, right?
Right.
Like where you can just like,
yeah, seriously,
like sign me up. Like, wouldn't that be something, right? Where's my $20 million Spotify deal? If they want me to complain about the patriarchy, I will complain about the patriarchy for $20 million.
Yeah, I'll do a lot of things for that.
Like, I will absolutely do that. Like, sign me up. Like, I will blame the patriarchy for all this stuff. I'm down. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.